In the time of legacy, I was born. Born on the island. A cannibal. A beast of the jungle. We were a three-man tribe. Me, Pig Thulu, and Dr. Baker. At that time, we were fresh bobs on the beach. Naive players unaware of the complexities of the ARK. We were driven by one thought and one thought alone. Acquire and consume human meat. After all, our tribe was the Meat Eaters. The first Meat Eater was named Blobber the Gut, and he taught us that all human meat was made to eat. If you catch one, cut him open and eat the yummy candy that falls from his insides. For many generations, this is how we survived, telling noobs to come to our cannibal camp where we would have dinner. Many innocent noobs fell for this. Their screams were heard throughout the jungle as we fed on their bodies. After ages passed with us eating living humans, it became a biological need wired into the very code of our genetic makeup. Just as a fish needs to swim and a bird needs to fly, a meat eater needs to eat human meat or he will die. Over time, we evolved to have other unique traits. Every meat eater can vaguely remember past lives. And most importantly, no true meat eater could ever feel a single human emotion. We were mindless and we were godless, but our endless hunger pushed us towards our Stone Age. We mastered making metal tools, and with those tools we exploited every resource we could find. Before long, we were greeted by a man on a T-Rex named Gary. Well, the T-Rex was named Gary. The man was named Mike. And Mike was of a tribe known as Kiowas. Kiowas Mike was the first human outsider we refused to eat, because every day Kiowas Mike would show up on Gary and rain endless meat. Our tribe elders invented a new word, and that word was friend. And with that word came a new philosophy. Friends are not food. Kiowas Mike spoke of powerful entities known as the Alphas. He told us they were a tribe named the Three Kings. The Three Kings were the oldest tribe on the island, and though at that time we did not know it, they would become the tribe to change our destiny forever. Kiowas Mike told us there were many tribes on the island, and to our surprise, many of them were his friends. Along our travels, we were more careful with who we ate. After all, we did not want to anger these Alpha Three Kings. Soon we made friends with other tribes, Le Grand Boa, the mighty warriors who showed us their mighty leaping frogs, and the role-playing mountain dwarves, who built mighty cities of stone, beautiful enough to make a man without emotions almost weep. One day, when my tribe was on the beach, they captured a woman and cut her into bits and consumed her while she screamed in public chat for help. As we ate her flesh, the sky opened up, and giant birds we've never seen came down and landed all around us. It was the Three Kings, and beneath them the ground trembled. Along for the ride and by their side was the Beta tribe. Dodos are us. And with them was our friend Kiowas Mike, riding on top of Gary. A man with a glowing crown and a voice that could break the ground looked down on my people and spoke.
Guys, we think your roleplay is kinda funny, but you gotta stop eating people, or we're gonna wipe your tribe.
The primitive meat-eaters dropped to their knees and screamed, "Please, we need to eat people. Without human flesh, we will cease to exist." The alphas looked at each other, and then their leader spoke again.
Look, dude, we'll give you guys a chance. But stop eating people for no reason. That's fucked up.
With his words said and done, they dispersed as fast as they arrived. From that day forward, a new word was used. It was God. The three kings were gods, the meat-eaters' gods. And those gods spoke the very law that we still follow today. You can't kill someone for no reason. That's fucked up. The elders within the tribe of the meat-eaters deciphered this law clearly. If a meat-eater could not eat an innocent human, a meat-eater must find a guilty human to eat. That simple law alone put in motion the events that would lead to a grand future no meat-eater could have ever predicted. By the end of our Stone Age, edible people were of rare supply. It became custom to fly up and down the beach, looking for beach bobs who were guilty of crime. While we became a de facto police force out of necessity, the role-playing mountain dwarves were having trouble inside their tribe. A dwarf named Jatungate had decided he wasn't a dwarf at all. In fact, he was a tree elf. And he demanded that the Dwarven king change their tribe from dwarf to elf. The Dwarven people were torn apart as both sides argued over what creature they really were. As they bickered and argued in public chat, the citizens of the island watched in horror. The dwarves were the first and oldest role-players of hardcore. Yet here they were, fighting like children in front of the world. Finally, the fiery three kings emerged from their caves, angered by the nonsense and noise. The furious three kings swooped down from the sky. The ancient Dwarven kingdom was ripped apart in moments. King Krotos, dear friend to the meat-eaters, and king of all dwarves, was burned alive in the Dwarven cataclysm. The few dwarves who escaped became elves, and Jatungate became their elven king. It was around this time we met another elven friend, but she wasn't born out of Dwarven collapse. She was from underground, a place known as the Underdark. Like all elves, she was a role player. She said her species of elf was called Drow, but I called it Drow. This Drow elf decided to live with us after we saved her from a bunch of raptors that were around her home. We boloed them all and said, "Quick, come to our cannibal camp." The frightened elf said, "Why did you bolo them? Just kill the raptors." And we replied, "Quick, come to our cannibal camp." Against better judgment, the Drow elf came home with us, and since that very day, she has remained family within the meat-eaters. But she was more than just a friend. You see, she was one of the most important steps in our very long journey ahead. Soon after the dwarves fell, the surviving elves were knocking on our doors. Gone were the pleasant meetings with King Krotos. Now they were replaced by starving mouths, begging for shelter. The meat-eaters reluctantly agreed, out of respect for the fallen dwarves. And while the elves constructed their little refugee camp in our front yard, a young meat-eater by the name of Tungbungo traveled to the Dwarven ruins to retrieve a green glowing artifact, the last surviving treasure of Krotos, king of the dwarves.
Du bist für mich das größte Arschloch, das es gibt auf der Welt. viel zu scheiße bist.